So I'm going to give you guys a list of 5 things that I think you should pay attention to, and in the order in which you should pay attention to them. Content, social, user experience, links, and SEO. In that order. Greg mentioned earlier content isn't king. You know what, from where we're sitting it is, because when people search, they're searching for content, they're not searching for your attempt to SEO your version of something at the top of the page.
Again? You're only talking content on SEO.
Sorry, you're right. Greg is the internet. Is the provider for the internet. Do you have an API?
One more time.
Content, social, user experience, links, and SEO. Now the SEO, basic best practices, Alex said this earlier, you gotta nail it, just get in there and do it. Your content, seriously, who here produces excellent content? Yeah, most of you are wrong. So here's the deal. You don't get to say you produce excellent content, okay? And Matt's produced some duds. He's got some winners, but it happens. User engagement decides whether your content is excellent or not, because that's what we're trying to understand. On the social side, it's more about engaging. It's not just about G+, Facebook, Twitter, all that. It's about engaging with clients and showing that you're a good business that's trustworthy, because those signals come back to us. On the user experience side, usability. If you're not putting money in usability testing and time into that, you're missing massive opportunities to move forward. And link building, if you nail the first 3, you get all the links you want. You don't need to worry about the rest of it. And then you're right back at the basics of SEO. But don't get myopic on these little tactics and say, oh, I have to tweak my H1 tag. And what happens when I move to HTML5 and I get multiple H1 tags and start losing sleep over that crap? Don't worry about it. Incidentally, we'll just take the first one for SEO and ignore the rest of them. So there you go.
All right, cool. So we're almost done with SMX. I'm always sad to see the end of SMX because it's so much fun. It's
of the particular SMX session that you're at, the conference, not the entire series.
SMX is not ending.
Just a clarification.
In case you thought SMX was going bankrupt, it's not going bankrupt. It's going fine.
There's a Jewish gay guy who wrote it really well, I hear. I'm just imagining the suggested queries you have formed for me and my brands over the past few days.
So I guess the higher bits, we will keep working on more communication and more transparency. Every year I say that, and every year it's true, and every year I find out we can do better, and we'll keep doing better, we'll keep working on it. The flip side of that is please avoid the temptation to go black hat or hire people on your behalf who are going to do spammy things. Because you dig yourself into a hole, and it's a lot more pain to dig back out of it than it would be if you just hadn't done it in the first place. The gap between, the cool loopholes that you think you can exploit versus the amount of pain, it just gets harder and harder every year. And so I would just recommend that people avoid that temptation. So I'm going to take Duane's 5 things and summarize them as one thing. Make something compelling. Right? Don't be generic. Make something compelling. And I'll specifically call out one thing he did and then add one more thing. I think it's important to think about the design and the user experience, whether it's your website, whether it's your entire sign-up process. Look for those rough edges. Sand them down. Bring in new people. Watch them go through the pipeline, and you will learn a ton of things about how to do stuff better. The sites that are doing really well, the businesses that are doing well, the startups that are doing well, are the ones who really pay attention to that user experience. And if you optimize that, you will do well. The last thing I just want to reiterate is mobile matters. It's going to matter a lot more than people realize, a lot faster than people realize. If you look at the graphs and go and look at your analytics or your server logs, you will probably see an exponential curve that's going to pass your desktop traffic in the next 2 or 3 years, depending on what sort of markets you handle and how international you are and all those sorts of things. So don't just completely ignore mobile. Start to think about it. Start to think about how you can do it well. Maybe that's an app, so you've got a more diverse set of traffic, and that's a fantastic thing to do. Maybe it's just making sure that your website works well on tablets and phones and smartphones and feature phones. Those are the big things, but high order bit, make something compelling. If you pay attention to that, things will work out.